agenda is to approve the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions? I need a recommendation.
Madam President, I recommend that the board to approve the agenda.
A motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so the motion is passed. The next item on our agenda is the superintendent's report. Mr. Olson.
Madam President, I have 4 items this evening for my superintendent's report. First of all, I'd like to ask the board to consider 2 matters in executive session. I have a personnel matter to go into executive session on, and a student matter for executive session. Then I have 3 other matters that we will have here in open session. All 3 of these are, we're honored to have several guests with us today that we're going to be recognizing. And first of all, I would like to ask our Executive Director of Elementary Education, Ms. Amanda Samples, to please come forward.
Good afternoon. The National Association of Elementary School Principals is committed to preparing assistant principals to step into the principal role. Recognition for exceptional leadership of the men and women who are responsible for the day-to-day operations of pre-K-8 schools instills pride in their accomplishments and reinforces their leadership in helping children develop a lifelong love of learning. The process includes consideration of the assistant principal's best practices along with letters of reference from fellow administrators and parents or community members. This year, we are proud to announce that the Mississippi Association of Elementary Schools Principals has awarded Ms. Marsha Phillips with the Mississippi Outstanding Assistant Principal of the Year Award. Ms. Phillips serves as the assistant principal at Chickasaw Elementary School. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Phillips at this time.
Let's take a picture real quick. Great. Congratulations. Great achievement to be the assistant principal of the year in the state of Mississippi, and we're so proud of Ms. Phillips for all of your hard work and all that you've done over the years for DeSoto County Schools. So proud of you. At this time, we have another special award. If I could ask Coach Anthony Jenkins, our district athletic director, please come forward.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Like Mr. Elson said, we have 2 people we want to recognize, or individual in the team we want to recognize. As you know, we've got some outstanding coaches and along with teachers in this district. We want to recognize one of them this afternoon that has received some outstanding awards. We have Coach J.J. Downs from Centennial High School, who is the boys and girls track coach at Centennial High School. I believe this is the 11th year at Center Hill, and as you remember, he won the state championship last year in girls track. And we have some awards that we wanted to present to him this afternoon. He received 3 awards, recently received 3 awards. The first one is the MAC Coach of the Year for Girls Track Award. If you'll come forward, Coach Downs. He was also the Section 3 Coach of the Year, which encompasses 8 states. So that's an outstanding honor. He also was the U.S. Track and Field Coach and Girls Track Coach of the Year. Congratulations, Coach.
I just want to thank y'all. Again, Mr. Van Alexander hired me, I think.
Right.
Yeah, well, he did hire me, I think, for about 24 hours 13 years ago, and then I stayed at the college level for 1 more year and then came to Center Hill High School. But Coach Jenkins has been very influential in helping me build our program over there. Miss Ann Jolly, I've coached both her grandsons, and it's been just a awesome experience. I've also worked with Mr. Williams' wife when I first came here, and had the pleasure of coaching both of her kids, both his kids in elementary PE, and just watching them grow up. But thank y'all all for all the support that y'all done helping to build Center Hill, from the new bleachers that we got this year from the sand pit 4 or 5 years ago, so we can keep growing track and field in DeSoto County. So just thank you, Coach Jenkins. Thank y'all to the board, Mr. Austin. Thank you for all your support and everything you've done. So thank you.
Appreciate you. Great job. Coach Jenkins, if you'll hold one of these awards here. He's got so much hardware, we got it. Great, congratulations. Appreciate you. Yes.
We got it, man.
Before Coach Jenkins announces our next group we have with us, that we called a break on the weather, because when I asked the coach that he's about to introduce, if we could get his team here, I said, look, I know Summer League baseball going on, you probably won't be able to get many of them here, so we may have lucked out today with a little bit of rain to get a baseball team in. So, Coach Jenkins.
It's, in my opinion, it's hard to win state championship, but to go ahead and go back and win 2 in a row, that's exceptional. Coach Monica and his staff has done an outstanding job with the DeSoto Central baseball program. They beat St. Martin, I guess it would be last month now, 3-1, 5-0 to win the second straight state championship. Ms. Monica, if you'd come forward, please, and talk to us a little bit about the outstanding things that you all are doing at the DeSoto Central.
Thank you for allowing us to be here today. Just a few things. I was asked a question, and I guess a post-game interview after winning the state championship, and winning, I guess 3 in the last 5 years, and back to back. What is it? What's the magic ingredient? And it was really simple. It was great players. The players that they put all the work in. You've got to have great players. Great assistant coaches, and Coach Miller and Coach Simpson, have just done an unbelievable job, with the program, in the classroom and as well on the field. Great families. All of our players come from great families, and that does not go unnoticed, and that's something that plays a big role, a big factor in the guys' success, as we're dealing with, outstanding young men, because, outstanding families, have raised them. Our administration, at DeSoto Central High School, and the teachers, they do so much. And then the school district, we come from a great school district. So, it really wasn't that difficult. Great players, great coaches, a great school, a great administration, and a great school district. So, that's you guys here, that do so much for our young people, and play a big role, in our baseball success. So I thank you.
Okay, you can get them, and we'll introduce the ones who are here, and we'll present them their certificates.
Coach Miller, will you bring the certificates up?
You just call out the ones that are here. I know you can get a lot. Where'd y'all finish ranked in the nation this year, Coach?
Several different polls had us ranked differently. I believe as high as Collegiate Baseball News had us number 2. Max Preps, help me out, guys. 5? There's a USA Today poll and a Baseball America poll, and I don't know if they've come out yet. Mississippi finishes a bit earlier than the rest of the country, so I think they're waiting on the rest of the the season to be done. So we're super blessed, super fortunate. Here with us today, we have Will Loxton. Come on up, Will. Also have senior Shamar Stapleton. Got sophomore Blaze Jordan. And junior Bryce Gadsden. Sorry.
Yeah, Coach Miller's scrambling.
And Junior Jacob Russo.
Congratulations.
And freshman Christian Sprawling. And junior Wesley Sides. And junior Aiden Fuller.
Congratulations.
And senior Terrace Meeks. Senior Dylan Hale.
Congratulations.
Senior Alex Frillman.
Congratulations.
Senior Connor Gardner. And forgot his class, sorry. Senior Carter Miller. Junior Carter Miller. This class, the classes that I announced is what they just competed in. Great group of guys.
Y'all turn and face up. Y'all gotta maybe get some rows. You need to put a row on the stage.
Two more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Great. Congratulations again. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all are free to go. Y'all are welcome to stay. Ms. Phillips and Coach Downs, congratulations again. Y'all are free to go too if you'd like to, or y'all are welcome to stay. So, y'all. That concludes my superintendent.
Next, we have the attorney's report.
Yes, Madam President, we have a personnel contract matter and one potential litigation matter, both of which needs to be discussed in the executive session.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes. We do not need a recommendation from the superintendent, so I'll take the motion.
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The ayes have it, so it's passed. The next item is the consent agenda, items A through X. Are there any changes or anything that you have a question about? Okay, I do need a recommendation from Mr. Alston.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the consent agenda.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The new business items are next. The first one is A, bids, desktop computers, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am. Bids were opened on the 24th of May for the purchase of desktop computers for the district. There were 2 vendors that submitted bids. It's my recommendation to accept the lowest and best bid from Ace Computers.
Recommendation from Mr. Alston.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and best bid from Ace Computers for desktop computers.
I need a motion.
I make that motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so it's passed. The next item is bids reflooring project on Lake Intermediate School, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am, bids were open on May the 15th for a reflooring project at Horn Lake Intermediate School. They're gonna redo the commons area. It's about 6,200 square feet. We propose to start as soon as we can order the tile. Hope to be done by the 29th of July, on or before that day.
Recommendation from Mr. Olson.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the bid for the Wagner General Contractors for the reflooring project at Horn Lake Intermediate School.
Okay, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so it's passed. The next item on the agenda is request to pay vendor purchasing rule issue, Horn Lake Intermediate School.
Yes, ma'am, I'll give the summary because this will refer to items C, D, and E. The board approved the contract for a vendor to work at the schools on February the 7th. The school inferred that once that contract has been approved, that the services could start. So they started with the services on February the 11th, but that was before a purchase order would have been issued. So while the school did follow the proper procedure for contractual agreements, that the error came in that the purchase order wasn't filled out or completed until March the 22nd. The school staff is aware of the purchasing error, and we reviewed the purchasing procedures to ensure this error is not repeated. The school is requesting that the board give them permission to use the monies from their accounts to pay the vendor for the services rendered.
Recommendation, Mr. Olson.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the request to pay the vendor for the purchasing rule issue at Horn Lake Intermediate School.
May I need a motion? Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so the motion's passed. The next one is request to pay vendor purchasing rule issue, Horn Lake Middle School, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am, this is the same scenario at Horn Lake Middle School, and Horn Lake Middle School is requesting that the board give them permission to use the monies from their school accounts to pay the vendor for the services rendered.
The recommendation, Mr. Olson.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the request to pay the vendor for the purchasing rule issue at Horn Lake Middle School.
Need a motion? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so the motion's passed. The next one is request to pay vendor purchasing rule issue for South Haven Elementary School, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am, the same scenario as before, and this one's at South Haven Elementary School, and they're asking the board's permission to use the money from their school accounts to pay the vendor for the services that have been rendered.
Recommendation, Mr. Olson.
This one's going to be South Haven Elementary.
South Haven Elementary.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the request to pay the vendor for the purchasing rule issue at South Haven Elementary School.
Is it a motion?
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so the motion's passed. The next one, request to reimburse an employee, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am. The principal at Fernando High School is seeking permission to reimburse a staff member who purchased Honor Society graduation cords for students. The company that was selling the cords would not accept the purchase order, and so the assistant principal paid with her own credit card, and which is, we have a credit card set aside for that, but apparently she didn't know that. We've talked to the school and addressed the issue. It shouldn't happen again, but the school is requesting the board's permission to use money from their school account to reimburse the staff member for the purchase.
Recommendation, Mr. Olson.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the request to reimburse the employee at Hernando High School.
All in favor? Aye. I make a motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so the motion's passed. The next one is statement of revenue and expenditures, April 2019, Ms. Graves.
Our revenues through April for general funds is $210,565,192, which is 90% of what we expect to receive. Compared to last year at $199,474,119, we're up about 6%. We just continue to trend that way. All funds received revenue-wise is $259,112,579, which we received about 89% of what we projected for the entire year for all funds. As far as our general fund expenditures, we're at $182,005,252. Compared to last year at $171,679,056, we're up 6%, but that is lower than we projected for our budget, so that's in great shape. All fund expenditures are at $243,001,185. Do be aware that even though we are at about 76% of our expenditures with only 2 months left, teachers do have 3 months left. So it's a little bit different, but with the increase in revenue from last year over what is projected and us being slightly below budget, we will have a very favorable. We can kind of project through the end of June right now, since we're in the middle of June. So we should have no surprises between now and the end of June, and it's very favorable.
The recommendation, Mr. Olson.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the statement of revenue and expenditures for April 2019.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so the motion is passed. The next one is statement of cash flow, April 2019. Ms. Graves.
Our district maintenance cash balance is at $108,846,356. That includes the invested balance of $27,254,18. All funds cash balance is $135,913,001, and we continue to be very pleased with our investments. We're down about a teacher pay a month, so we've been very pleased.
Okay, recommendation, Mr. Olson.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the statement of cash flow for April 2019.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All, the ayes have it, so it's passed. The next one is combined balance sheet, April 2019. Ms. Graves.
The fund balance for all general funds for April is $112,840,597, compared to last year at $116,078,618. It looks like it's a 3% decrease, but this is June through June. We still adjust for that $10 million transfer. So with the $10 million transfer adjustment, it's $122,840,597, which actually is a 6% increase over last year if we're comparing apples to apples.
Recommendation, Mr. Olson.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the combined balance sheet for April 2019.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Take your All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. So the ayes have it, the motion is passed. The next one is certification of bank reconciliations, April 2019. Ms. Graves.
All bank statements have been reconciled with no exception.
Recommendation, Mr. Olson.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the certification of bank reconciliations for April 2019.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so the motion is passed. I know, Mr. Burke, you're glad you're finished. Revised board policy, JVC, school admissions, Ms. Weeks.
Yes, ma'am. We are requesting a revision to this policy. We are adding language in accordance with Senate Bill 2050, stating that students of military families can enroll in school based on their parents' military orders.
Recommendation, Mr. Olson.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the revised board policy, JVC, for school admissions.
I need a motion.
Make that motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so the motion is carried. The next item on the agenda is revised board policy JDB, corporal punishment. Ms. Weeks.
Yes, we're adding language to this policy in accordance with House Bill 1182, stating that children with a disability, and that includes students with an IEP or a 504 plan, cannot be subject to corporal punishment.
Okay, I need a recommendation from Mr. Olson.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the revised board policy JDB for corporal punishment.
I need a motion. Second. Second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so the motion is passed. We agree. Ms. Personnel, Mr. Alexander.
Yes, ma'am. Pages 1 through 13 are recommendations. Pages 14 through 19 are personnel changes. Page 20 is a memo from Ms. Stephanie Green, Director of English Learners, requesting board approval of 4 additional units for the 1920 school year. Already 3 have been approved, so it's an additional unit now. Page 21 is a memo from Ms. Alyssa Geist, Director of Special Education, requesting that educational interpreters work and be compensated for any overtime when needed for the 1920 school year. Page 22 is a memo from Ms. Geist on a psychologist day changing from 187 to 230 day. Page 23 is a memo from Ms. Geist on a change in positive behavioral specialist. Smacking Bell to go from 190 to 200 day. And this will put all positive behavioral specialists on 200 day contracts. Page 24 is a memo from myself on the substitute rates of pay for the 2020 school year. Page 25 is a memo for myself on the 2019-2020 use of facilities employee payments. Page 26 is a memo for myself on the request to approve following fees: background check processing, ID badge replacement, and key fob replacements. Page 27 is a memo for myself for the 2019-2020 MET supplement rate of $9.58 per special education student to the MET share of each school location. Page 28 is a memo for myself requesting the approval of reclassification of the position that currently reports to the Director of Physical Plant Maintenance from Office Manager to Office Supervisor. This position we pay at $59,096 annually. Page 29 through 31 is the job description for the Office Supervisor. You just have a title change. You do have an added managing and maintaining inventory for the district warehouse. It was not on it previously. Page 32 is a memo for myself requesting the Board of Education approve a new position of purchasing coordinator to serve under the operations department. Page 33 through 34 is a purchasing coordinator job description. Page 35 through page 37 is a title tutor's job description. We've had them, but this is the first time we've had a specific job description for these employees now. Page 38 through 40 is Title I lead teacher job description, the same situation. Page 41 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Geist on an employee who will work as an interpreter for a DeSoto County School special education student who is a member of the Lewisburg Middle School basketball team who will be participating in summer basketball practices and games. Page 42 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Geist from the SPED department who has budgeted for 30 extra hours per school year per fiscal year to allow the Met chairs to complete SPED special education paperwork. Page 43 through 45 are the Met chairs' names and locations. Page 46 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Geist on Ms. Williams, bus driver, who's board approved on 5/16, the rate of $49.48. It should have been $79.48. She will work 24 days and will start 6/3 and 19 and will end 7/18/19. Page 47 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Geist on summer ESY employees. These employees will start 6/7/19 and end 7/18/19. Page 48 is a list of additional ESY workers, names and locations. Page 49 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Weeks, Assistant Superintendent on the MDE, who requires training for pre-kindergarten teachers and assistant teachers to obtain the appropriate certification. 80 total hours will be worked with TAs, and they'll be paid at a rate of $10.50 per hour, beginning 6/17 and ending 6/28. Page 50 is a list of names of those. Page 51 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Weeks on MDE, requiring the training for pre-kindergarten teachers and teacher assistants. This is obtained the appropriate certification. 80 hours will be worked with teachers, and they'll be paid at $27 per hour, starting 6/17 and ending 6/28. Page 52 is a list of those names. Page 53 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Lucy Haskell, Executive Director of Secondary Education, on teachers who have created instructional modules to support ELA instruction in all middle schools. 30 hours will be worked starting 7/8 and ending 7/12, be paid at their daily rate of pay. Page 54 is ELA Summer Committee names and locations. Page 55 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Haskell on science teachers who will revise common assessments and create literacy-based instructional tools. 30 hours work from 7/15 to 7/19 at their daily rate of pay. Page 56 is the Science Committee names and locations. Page 57 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Hassman on teachers who will work to create instructional resources to be used in middle school social studies. Teachers to prepare for those courses and standards, 30 hours, starting 7/15 and ending 7/19, be paid at their daily rate. Page 58 is the Social Studies Committee names and locations. Page 59 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Amanda Samples on Kelly Peel and Mary Littleton, who work on curriculum and resources for teachers to use at the beginning of the school year. Each employee can work up to 80 additional hours and be paid at their daily rate of pay beginning 6/7 and ending 6/30. Page 60 is a request for additional pay for Ms. Eimer to facilitate the third grade reading camp for students who were unsuccessful in the MATE assessment. Working dates will be June 17th through June 28th. Total hours will be worked as 50 at her daily rate of pay. Page 61 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Helms, Director of Student Records, on Ms. White, who will need time to train for her new position as cohort clerk at DeSoto Central High School. She will work up to 120 hours and be paid at $13.86 per hour, beginning 6/10 and ending 6/28. Page 62 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Helms on Ms. Dawson, who will need time to train for her new position as cohort clerk at Center Hill High School. She'll work 80 hours, up to 80 hours, be paid at $14.24 per hour, beginning 6/17 and ending 6/28. Page 63 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Hanson, Assistant Director of Child Nutrition, on Monica Woods, who replaced Ms. Fillers, who's decided not to work with the summer food program. Ms. Woods will work 186 hours, beginning 6/7 and ending 7/26, and be paid at her daily rate. Page 64 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Emily Nelson, Director of Leadership, on Ms. Lee, who will work on summer testing for the gifted program. She will work 40 hours, beginning 7/6 and ending 7/31, and be paid at her daily rate. Page 65 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Nelson. Ms. Emily Nelson on Ms. Dove, who will work summer testing for the gifted program. She'll work 40 hours, beginning 6/7 and ending 7/31, be paid at her daily rate. Page 66, a request for additional pay from Ms. Tawana Williams, Director of Mental Health, on the counselors who will oversee the dual credit program at their school for the 2019-2020 school year. They'll need 40 hours in excess of their contracts, begin on 6/7 and end on 7/12, and be paid at their daily rate of pay. Page 67 is a list of the dual credit program counselors and their locations. Page 68 is a request of additional pay from Mr. Levi Williams, Director of Transportation, on Miss Georgia, who will work training as a dispatcher and a router. Total hours to be worked is 128, beginning 6/7 and ending 6/28. She'll be paid at her daily rate. Page 69 is a request for additional pay from Mr. Jerry White, Director of Plant Maintenance, on Mr. Bean, who will be replacing Mr. Hoggard as summer grass cutter who resigned. Mr. Bean started on 6/1, he will end on 7/26. He'll be paid the same amount, $1,000, so it's previously board approved. Page 70 is a memo for myself on Ms. Dee Thompson. She'll serve as assistant principal at Horn Lake Elementary School. She'll begin on 7/22. Her was previously board approved the location to be announced later. So we've done that now. I need to stop at this point and have that board approved.
Do you get our recommendation, Mr. Olson?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve pages 1 through 70 of personnel as presented.
I need a motion.
Make that motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. The motion is passed.
Page 71 is a request that the Board of Education approve the recommendation of employment for a Ms. Henley to work as a new professional graduate license to work as a certified teacher for 2019-2020 school year at DeSoto Central Middle. She'll begin on August the 2nd, 2019.
Need a recommendation?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve page 71 of personnel as presented.
All in favor, say aye. No, I need a motion, excuse me.
Make the motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, so motion passed. Yes, Mr. Nichols, I have to leave, so Mr. Nichols will take this over now.
Okay, page 66 is a request for Board of Education to approve the recommendation of employment for Ms. Stallings to work as a certified teacher for the 2019-2020 school year at South Haven Elementary School. She'll begin on August the 2nd.
We have a recommendation for approval. Need a motion?
I'll need a motion. I'll make that motion.
We have a second.
Second.
Motion made and second. All opposed?
No.
Any for? All in favor? Okay.
Aye.
I didn't hear it.
Recommendation. Madam President, I recommend to the board, Mr. President, I recommend to the board to approve page 72 of personnel as presented.
Okay, all right, maybe we're back on track.
I make that motion.
I second.
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 Motion hasn't been made and second.
All in,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We're looking at this all the time. But anyway, did we get it okay?
Yes.
All right.
Mr. President.
now.
We're back on rules.
Wow, second. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Do we have any student discipline for Mr. Finley?
Madam Chair, we have two discipline matters to address in executive session.
It's time for public comment. That would be for 3 minutes, 5 minutes if you have requested to appear. Can be no student matters or personnel matters will be discussed in an open session. They have to be presented behind closed doors. So would anybody like to comment publicly or do that scare you to death? Okay. Nobody? Okay. So I don't have anything for this to. Now, I need a motion for consideration of closed session to determine whether the board should enter executive session for the following matters. A potential litigation matter, personnel contract matter, a student matter, student discipline, and a personal matter. I
Make
need a
that
motion.
motion to consider going into executive session for the 4 matters you just mentioned.
And I need an aye. All in favor, excuse me. Aye. All right, so that motion passed. Mr. Chase will come back and inform you whether we stay in executive session or not. The recess meeting is scheduled for Thursday, June the 20th, 2019 at 3 p.m. See you then. later in the time.